One of the few parables that Jesus taught before he died was about the marriage supper of the Lamb. And in it, he shows the gospel commission throughout time. He shows the rejection by the Jewish nation in the beginning, and at the end, the last gospel call to the world, he describes as this, and I think you might find it interesting. The parable begins with a certain king who has a marriage for his son. We know that is God the Father and the Son is Jesus Christ. The marriage supper is the great final celebration of the redeemed. You read about it in Revelation 19. But let's look at the final call of the gospel and see what it looks like, because I think we're at the final call. For the first two calls, it says, they which are bidden were bidden, and that's the perfect past tense, meaning they had an invitation, but they rejected it. It says they were not worthy because they didn't come. They made excuses. And then the king, Jesus, or the Father, he says, go ye therefore out into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. The servants went out into the highways and gathered unto them as many as they found, and both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. So check that out. He goes out to the highways and hedges. He gets the dregs of society, people that probably the churched people would not like. And in fact, I believe the Bible teaches there's going to be a great shaking before Jesus returns. There's going to be a shakeup of the natural order of things. And those who think that they are saved and have this close walk with Christ because they pay their tithe and they do everything right, and they look down their noses at people on the street, those people are going to be shaken out. They're going to be shocked because they have more in harmony with the Pharisees of Christ's day than they do of Christ's disciples. And here we have, in the last days, the people coming from the highways and hedges. These are people that are not polished. These are not the four square families that you find in earlier times. These are not people that have the Bible memorized and are clean cut. These are people with mental problems. These are the handicapped. These are the maybe the homeless, the addicts, the people from different faiths, people that are foreign to the covenant of Christianity. And you know what? There's something very ironic about that, because that's how the gospel began. Peter, James, and John, and Andrew, they were fishermen. They probably had foul mouths. We know Peter did, and others did too, because it's hard to have a friend that cusses and you don't. Have you ever noticed that? Mary, we know that she had all kinds of problems. So Jesus hung out with a crew, tax collectors who were criminals, thugs. And that's how the gospel began, and that's how it's going to end. And I want to ask you, are you calling those people to Jesus?